Hey everybody, I hope you're having a great day. Let's see how the rich screwed us out of the COVID-19 relief, shall we? This is actually really interesting because 43,000 Americans somehow got $1.7 million each. And we're sitting over here with $1,200. I wonder how that happened. Let's do the math, shall we? Okay, so for starters, we have 330,594,690 million Americans living in the United States as of April 15th, 2020. This is the closest estimate we get before the census comes out this year, so we're just going to run with it. Now, to get the right numbers, we have to do a proper age distribution, and it's going to look something like this. You've got 0 to 18, you've got 19 to 24, 25 actually. You've got 26 to 34. And then you've got 35 to 54. You've got the 55 to the 64. And then finally you've got 65 plus. Now, for these distributions, you're going to have certain percentages, which I'm going to lay out. So for the 0 to 18 crowd, there's going to be 24% distribution. There's going to be 9% distribution for the 19 to 25-year-olds. We're going to have 12% for the 26 to 34-year-olds. Then 26% for the 35 to 54-year-olds. Then another 13% for the 55 to 64-year-olds, and 16% for the 65 and over crowd. So again, the distribution is 24%, 9%, 12%, 26%, 13%, and 16%. These are 2018 numbers, by the way, so this may have changed. Don't quote me. So for the 0 to 18 crowd, you're going to end up with about 79,342,726 million Americans in that bracket. And the thing is we're going to count them as dependent. I'm not going to worry about the independent aspect here, because that would just be taking too much time off my hands, okay? So we multiply this by $500 for each child, and that would end up with $39,671,363,000 for the 0 to 18-year-olds for their COVID relief checks, okay? Now, with the 19 to 25 bracket, I decided to do a dependent-independent distribution. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to take a third of that population and consider them to be independent, and the other two-thirds we're going to label as being dependent. This way we can show a little bit of a different distribution, but still be within the same numbers here, okay? So in the 19 to 25 bracket, you've got 29,753,522 million Americans. And again, we're going to multiply that by 1/3 for independents, and we're going to get up with 9,818,662. And so for the remainder, you just take away the difference, which would give you 19,934,860, we'll say, dependents, okay? So this is your dependent column right here. So 19,934,860 dependents and 9,818,662 independents. So we're going to multiply this one by 500, and we're going to multiply this one by 1,200, and we're going to see our numbers here in just a second. So in the dependent column, you're going to end up with 9,967,000, my apologies, $430,000 for the dependents. And in the independent column, you're going to end up with 11,782,390, oh my god, I did it again, 11,782,000,000, my fault, $394,400 for the independent. Now that we gotten over that hump, for the 26 to 34-year-olds, you're going to end up having a population of 39,671,363 million Americans, as such. So the rest of this is pretty much going to be a crapshoot. Everybody gets $1,200 at this point. So multiply this by 1,200, and this becomes 47,605,635,000 $600 for this age bracket. See? For the 35 to 54 bracket, it's going to be 85,954,619 million Americans times $1,200 comes out to 103,145,542,800. Now for the 55 to 64 bracket, it's going to be 42 million Americans, 42,977,310 million Americans times $1,200 equals 51,572,000,077. Sorry, I'm speeding up here. So it's 51,572,772,000 for the 55 to 64 bracket. And so for the 65 bracket, you've got 52,895,150 million Americans. So multiplying that by $1,200 gives you $63 billion, up to $63,474,180,000 as such. Alright, so tell me this. Why is it that the rich of 43,000 people got $1.7 million each? What does that come out to? The answer may shock you. That comes out to $73,100,000,000 for 43,000 Americans. So, let's add all this up, shall we? So first, let's compile our numbers. We've got the 39 billion number, and then you've got the, well, if we combine them together, it'd be a 21 billion number for the 0 to 18-year-olds, and the 19 to 25-year-olds. Okay, see? I'm just going to abbreviate everything. Then you've got the 47 billion number for the 26 to 34-year-olds. No. And then you've got the 103 billion for the 35 to 54-year-olds. And then you have the 65 number, which would be 63 billion, abbreviated, of course. And then we'll add in the 43,000 plus 43,000 number. So what does that come out to? Drumroll, please. No, we're not that fucking cliche. It comes up to $391,348,630,800 as such. So, what does that break down to? Now, let's just break this down into percentages, shall we, based on the age groups. So, the 0 to 18-year-olds, they got, well, technically they got 0% because they're still dependents and they suck, but they would have made up 10.14% of all the distributions. The 19 to 25-year-olds would have gotten approximately 5.56%. The 26 to 34-year-olds would have gotten 12.16%. The 35 to 54-year-olds, because there's such a large number, ended up with 26.36% return, and then the 55 to 64 crowd got 13.8% back, and then the 65 plus crowd got 16.22%. And then finally, 43,000 Americans somehow ended up with 16.36%. Is that right? Let me double check. Sorry, 16.38%. So 43,000 Americans got almost 20% of $391,348,630,800. And they're already millionaires? like, obviously I have to do some sort of linear regression here, or some sort of other statistical measurement, maybe a two-tailed test or something like that, but this is absolutely fucking bonkers. How the fuck does 43,000 Americans end up with $73 billion? So, boys, girls, and however you choose to self-identify, what have we learned? Well, the GOP are a bunch of sociopathic cocksuckers, and the rich are fucked up. So, fuck you, Donald Trump. Where the fuck is my $2,000? On top of that, I want $1,000 every single month for the rest of this year. In fact, for the next year. Because this is bullshit.